What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. In today's quick tutorial, I'll be showing you how to set up the MPU6050 6-axis accelerometer with the Raspberry Pi and Python to start getting acceleration readings in just a few steps. For those of you guys who don't know, the MPU6050 is probably the most popular DIY accelerometer for projects regarding the Raspberry Pi or Arduino. And that's just because it's very easy to use, it's very cheap and accurate for its price. And so for those of you guys who do not have one and you are new to this community, I suggest you go and buy some because they can lead to some pretty interesting IoT and robotics projects. Just to let you know, we do offer at our ShillehTek store on ShillehTek.com or our Amazon store, which will link down in the description below, for a cheap price, and it does come pre-soldered, so you can just plug it in right away with jumper wires to save you time and energy. So that is pretty cool. Also, do not forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't before we get started. And so yeah, we're just going to jump into it here. So once you have all the material you need in terms of the jumper wires, the MPU6050 and the Raspberry Pi, you just want to make a connection with 4 jumper wires, as you can see here. I hope the coloring is clear. So of course we need STL and SDA pins for the I2C communication, and we need power, VCC, and ground. And once you have that, that's really all you need for the physical setup. And we're just going to jump into what we do on the Raspberry Pi side. Once you have this, make sure it's plugged into power to set up the code and the libraries we need to get this started. Okay, so jumping into the Raspberry Pi side of things, you can see I'm logged in, and the first thing you simply want to do is you just want to go to the top left there, click the little Raspberry Pi menu, go to Preferences, go to Raspberry Pi Configuration, and we want to enable I2C in the interfaces because it's not enabled out of the box. So we can just go here and check that. I already have it checked, but you can just go ahead and check it and click OK. And so once you have that enabled, you want to reboot to make sure it's enabled. So you just want to go here again, and then you want to go to log out. And in the log out, there's actually a reboot. So that log out button is a little misleading. You can actually reboot and shut down your Raspberry Pi. So go ahead and click reboot to make sure I2C is enabled. And then once that's done, after about a minute, come back in and log in and go to a new terminal window. So I already have a terminal window here, and we just want to install this library. So according to their documentation, which will be linked down in the description below for this library, we can either pip install it or we can sudo apt install it, as you can see here. So there's sudo apt install python 3 sm bus or pip install, or you could do both. So I just ran pip install MPU6050 Raspberry Pi. So I'm just going to go ahead and click enter, and you should do the same thing. Mine's already installed, so it should be quick here. And then once we have that, we can start writing code using this library. It's very easy to get readings using this library from the MPU6050. It's literally a couple lines of code and some layers on top of that if you want to do more advanced things. But simply, I already have the code ready for you, and I'm going to link the code in my GitHub page in the description down below. But simply, this is the code. I'm just using Thonny as my editor. You can use any editor you want. Just make sure it's a Python file. And we just want to import the library, import time. And we're creating an MPU6050 object and pointing to the I2C address of the MPU6050. Okay, so that's a hexadecimal address. And then we're just going to run this while loop, which is going to give us accelerometer data, gyro data, and temperature data by calling this function here, which we define, where we get accelerometer data by calling the method on the object, and then get gyro data by calling the method. And we can also get temperature, believe it or not, in degrees Celsius. And we're just going to print these out. So it's going to give us 6 degrees of freedom in terms of values for the acceleration. And it's going to give us 1 value for the temperature. And we're doing that every second down here. So that's all we're doing in terms of the code. So we're just going to go ahead and run that. And if you have everything set up correctly, you should start getting values. And once you move your sensor around, it'll make sense. So we're running it right now. We're getting values every 1 second on the screen, which is awesome. So I'm not moving my accelerometer. And it looks like the values are in meters per second squared, and the gyro values are probably in degrees per second. And so the temperature is also in degrees Celsius, as you can see there. So if I start moving my sensor, you can't see it off screen. It does start to change the values. And if I put one axis, the Z, against gravity, you can see it's about 9.8 almost meters per second squared. My hand's not stable, but you get the point. Of course, you can move it around and you'll see change in value. So that's pretty cool, and you can access them via this dictionary. Another cool thing you can do with this library, what you can see on the GitHub page, is you can actually set the range of the accelerometer data and gyro data you'd like to read. So for those of you guys who don't know, you can actually enable ranges of up to 16 Gs on this accelerometer. And I don't know what the exact degrees per second maximum range is, but you can change that, and that's all in the library that you can go through if you'd like to do something with that application in terms of changing the ranges of the gyro and the accelerometer. It's a little slightly more advanced. Not a lot of people have to do it, but if you are interested in higher G levels and doing things, configuring that, you can as well with the documentation down below. So overall, I hope you got the gist. I hope it was simple and you have your MPU6050 connected. And if you haven't, once again, you could buy it at our store, ShillehTek.com, or on our Amazon store, which once again will be linked down in the description below with all the documentation related to this video. So I hope you enjoyed it, and let me know if you have any questions. Don't forget to subscribe. Let me know if you have any comments just in general. Stay tuned. Thanks for watching, and take it easy.